Hi everyone, my name is Lyra, and in my last video I promised you that I was going to talk about some heavier topics that have to do with being trans. Well, after watching the episode of Degrassi that aired on Thursday, August 15th, 2013, I've been wanting to get the word out on such a topic, and I think this will be how it happens. So I put on my battle gear, and now we gotta do this. So, first and foremost, this episode will obviously contain spoilers. If you watch Degrassi or plan to watch Degrassi and are not current and don't want it spoiled, you have been warned. Proceed at your own risk. But for those of you that are current in Degrassi, you can probably imagine why I'm pretty upset right now. For those that can't or maybe don't remember very well, let me provide a quick summary of the life and times of this show's revolutionary character, Adam, a pre-op, pre-hormonal, teenage, trans male in a public school. Adam has been one of Degrassi's most consistently queer and struggling characters, and for several years, he has been on this show. Most of those struggles have been surmountable. Adam moved to a new school to avoid bullying for his transition, and even though he eventually had to come out to most of the school and endured some pretty severe bullying at first, he eventually became one of the school's most loved personalities. He played in a band, was heavily involved in the school play, and he even had a budding romance with, of all people, a fundamentalist Christian girl. That was what was so amazing about Adam. He was a trans character who seemed realistic, but also optimistic. And that's something that everyone in the community needs right now, especially people who are still in grade school. I know that I, for one, viewed Adam as something of a role model, and in fact, getting to know Adam was one of the reasons I was even able to transition in the first place. His story gave me the confidence to discover my true self. So it was a pretty horrible shock when this character not only died, but died doing something incredibly out of character, texting and driving in a stolen vehicle in the middle of the night in the middle of the woods. And then he had his death justified as a necessary evil for a plot line the writers had been asked to create. The official position from the production team is that since the actor who played Adam's contract was up, they had to find a way to write the character off the show, and this plot line that they needed to show the dangers of texting and driving offered them the perfect way to do it. Many of my trans colleagues seem to agree with the production team's decision because I guess they don't want to appear to undermine the severity of texting and driving. I do not wish to undermine that severity either, but the fact that the production team decided to handle it this way leads me to doubt their commitment to trans awareness and advocacy. I have had my doubts on this issue for a while, actually, ever since Adam was forced to use the handicap restroom after some difficulty with another student in the men's bathroom. So let me tackle this issue and explain why I, as a trans woman and a member of the trans activist community, am so incredibly hurt by what the Degrassi team has done here. I'm not going to be able to cover everything by a long shot. I only get 10 minutes per video after all, but here's what I think the core of it is. All fancy arguments aside, it really comes down to this. Adam did not have to die for this plot line. It takes about 5 minutes for anyone who knows this show to come up with at least 2 alternative ways that Adam could be written off the show because his actor's contract was up, and the severity of Don't Text and Drive could be communicated without Adam dying. Since fans can do that so easily, why couldn't the writers? Degrassi writers, why couldn't you take 5 minutes to figure out a way for Adam to get out of this without dying? Why, in fact, did you have a story about don't text and drive take place under such ridiculously abnormal circumstances, a stolen van in the middle of the woods at night, that it is impossible for people like me to see it as anything other than an excuse to kill Adam. Particularly when there are other characters who are known to be a bit more reckless and impulsive, who might have been more likely to engage in such behavior in their own vehicles under more relatable circumstances. See, that's the thing. You claim that killing Adam in this way makes the message about texting and driving more powerful, but it doesn't. It's not a message about texting and driving anymore. It's a message about what happens to trans kids, that they die stupidly, inexplicably, with no possible sense of triumph. This scenario is totally unrelatable. Hell, from a purely statistical standpoint, it was more reckless of Maya to use a credit card to buy a $4,000 dress for her to wear for one night and then return, which happened in the same episode that Adam died in. But Maya, even though she did get juice spilled on her dress, was able to clean it and return it without a single consequence. Adam, on the other hand, does something that virtually no teen will ever be presented with the opportunity to do, and he dies for it. I don't know what you were thinking consciously, Degrassi writers, but from my perspective, this whole storyline was an excuse to kill Adam. And I can't fathom why you would do that to such a beloved, revolutionary, and wholly unique and needed character. The world needs Adam on TV, now more than ever. Things are getting better, but without strong, inspiring role models like Adam, we will lose the momentum. And what is his senseless cop-out of a death going to say to the trans kids who looked up to him? It isn't going to tell them not to text and drive. Their parents have already told them that. But hardly anyone's parents are telling them to accept trans kids. So when Adam died, one of their only sources of camaraderie died too. You can't just kill your only trans character in a stupid accident like this without making a very clear statement that you do not understand how frightening and violent the world can be towards trans kids. You are eminently letting them down, showing them that no matter how much they overcome, no matter how much progress they make, they're still doomed and alone. Degrassi writers, I am extremely hurt and disappointed in this decision, and I hope everyone who agrees with me will speak out and say something too. I know you can't bring Adam back, but you had damn sure better get another trans character on the show within the next year, and you had better treat them a lot better. Trans kids are already terrified and on edge. You don't need to scare us any further. And I would like to tell you not to bother, to let someone else do it, since you clearly can't handle the responsibility. But at present, there doesn't seem to be anyone else. Lord knows the Disney Channel won't be doing it anytime soon. And I know that you're capable, because you were doing so well for so long. So please, Degrassi, get back to what you were doing. Bring us a revolutionary character again. Not a cheap sacrifice to a watered-down PSA. Please leave a comment if you have anything to add to this discussion. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.